What is up, humans? I have been procrastinating on this video for quite some time. And also there haven't been a lot of shoes coming into the store. I did just get some Hator Adidas Forum 84 ADV highs with straps and all that stuff. So we're gonna do a video about those really soon. Those look really sick. I know you guys love the Forums, so stay tuned for that one. I have a few other things going on that I wanted to talk about. First of all, we do have this Low Block skateboard. Low Block is our local DIY spot, and this kind of girl collab, just kind of celebrating our DIY spot, and a portion of the proceeds of this board are going to go towards building new stuff at that spot or other spots, just future builds. That's what that's going to go towards. These shirts that say Columbia. For those of you who do not know, we are a skate shop from Columbia, South Carolina. It's got the little girl logo right there, and then also hoodies. So we also got this, I think this is a dark navy hoodie with Carolina blue written on the chest. So these are all really sick, super nice quality hoodies, and a portion of the proceeds of all of this stuff is going to go towards building spots in our local town. So thanks to all the humans out there that are involved in Low Block and keep that thing rolling pretty well. We have a build bucket here, and we donate to that as well. But Tom and Nate and just, dude, I can't even name everybody involved, but all the people involved, thank you for keeping that dream alive and thriving. So Low Block is where I skate almost all the time. So thank you guys. That said, I usually film my videos very linear. In this video, I was trying to think about how to do it differently, and I kept overwhelming myself, so I just didn't want to do it. So here we go. I'm just going to jump into it, and we're going to film it very linearly, meaning that in consecutive order, consequential order. Is that what it is? Sequential. Haha. We're going to film it in sequential order. So anyway, you guys remember this video a while back. I skated in these shoes, and the toe box blew out pretty quickly. And a lot of skateboarders were like, oh, a skate shoe that doesn't hold up to skateboarding. I hate to break it to you. Man, if you ride a skateboard, you know that most shoes do not hold up. That said, this type of toe construction sometimes isn't as durable as other types of toe constructions, but typically Nike does a turn and stitch toe cap, which, let me see if I can explain this. All right, so you got two pieces of material, your vamp, which is this part of the shoe right here, and then your toe wrap or your mustache. I call it a mustache sometimes, but that's not right. Your little toe bumper or whatever you want to call it. This is a toe wrap. And back in the 80s, don't quote me on this, but when we used to skate Jordans, and I skated a ton of Adidas basketball shoes back in the 80s, there weren't a lot of skateboard shoes being made at that time. There was Vans, and then Airwalk was born a little later. But yeah, so we skated in basketball shoes. That said, I believe that this area, this material right here, the vamp, was sewn into the Strobel stitch, which is right here. Actually, it's right there, that stitch. So typically the vamp would be sewn into the Strobel stitch, and then the toe cap would be sewn over the top of that. So back in the 80s, Jordans lasted a long time to skate in, or at least they did for me. But also I didn't ollie very much back then, because nobody really did until the late 80s or mid 80s. So anyway, that said, at some point it changed and people started making this two pieces. Anyway, when that happened, this piece of material would completely pull apart because the vamp is no longer sewn into the Strobel, which is kind of crazy that we developed beyond that process, especially for skate shoes. And skate brands are not exempted from that move, which I think is really weird. I remember there was this brand called 88 for a brief time in the early mid 2000s, and we got Christian Speedtek's Pro shoe in, and the toe box blew out entirely. It just didn't hold together at all, and they fixed it, and I believe they sewed the vamp into the Strobel. It must cost, or it must save just like a little bit of money, but to alleviate that, typically, not on this one, but most of your Nike Dunks, your Nike SB Dunks, have a turn and stitch toe cap, which helps prevent that from blowing apart. Typically, all that is if this is the vamp and this is the toe bumper, a lot of times the toe bumper is just sewn right on top of the vamp. But in a turn and stitch, it does this thing. You turn it and then you stitch it together. So then it's got like stitches going across this seam. So when the stitches pop, the stitches down here are still holding this part of the shoe together. Does that make sense? I don't know if it makes sense, but anyway, typically Nike SB Dunk Lows hold up very well to skateboarding. And I think if we do a little a little surgery to this shoe right here, it's gonna still have a lot of life left in it. Let's just look at some other examples of toe construction really quickly. Right here, you have a SXL. Look at how giant this shoe is. This is insane. This is my buddy Pete's shoe, and he is a SXL fanatic. He only skates in this shoe. There you go. Look at this toe box right here. As you can see, same thing, you see these two parts of material, the vamp and this little toe bumper, they are separating because the vamp isn't sewn into this area of the shoe. So that's why that blows apart, and it happens on SXLs as well. They do hold up pretty well. This is a triple stitched toe cap, so you do see this holding up a little better than usual, and I'm pretty sure it's glued on there as well. So that is your SXL suffering the same kind of damage. It's holding on for dear life right there, but still holding together. If we look at this this black version, you can see where he prevented a lot of that from pulling apart. But how did he do that? He put either shoe glue or super glue on the toe right there to kind of help that seam stay together, so that now the wear just kind of went through the shoe and through the rubber underneath and through this, like, I don't know, what is that, foxing material? What do you call this? I'm not sure. It's like a mesh material, and the padding, the foam that builds out the rest of the toe. So you can see, look, there's hair all over these things. I'm sorry about that, guys. That's probably mine. Anyway, there's shoe glue here, just keeping the laces all together. And yeah, but there you go. That is another SXL. And then as you can see, here is this one, again with the vamp just flopping around. And you can see there's all this, like, it's almost like padding or just like a mesh material. I wish I knew what that was called. I could probably call Don at S and ask him. But yeah, I don't know. So this happens, that type of wear does happen on regular skate shoes as well. This is exaggerated for sure, but this is a toe box made of burlap. So, and it's wrapped around suede. And we're gonna glue this back down, and this shoe is gonna last a lot longer. So having said that, here is a New Balance 440 high top, and you can tell, look at this vamp material here actually does go into the Strobel stitch, which is kind of, it's exciting to see that, because, you know, you have your, let's see. You do have your shoes that are a one-piece toe construction. So you look at that, there's no seams to pull apart at all. And this is really good. That way you're not popping any sort of toe box. You're not blowing the toe box open, but there's only one layer of either suede or in this case leather before you go down to the underneath materials and start blowing through that shoe pretty quickly. So this is awesome. It does hold up very well, but what if you had a toe bumper, an extra piece of material that was just sewn around the front? It would last twice as long, right? Yeah, right. So you wouldn't want that on a vulcanized shoe like this. It would look crazy. But if we take a look at this New Balance 440, you will see that this has kind of that vamp construction similar to a Blazer, but the vamp goes into the strobel stitch right here. So once you wear away this toe bumper, you still have this whole layer of material to go through before you reach your sock or before you reach the underneath materials. This shoe even has rubber between the two layers. So there's actually, every New Balance shoe that has this type of toe construction is actually a 3-layered ollie area, which is kind of nice. So I don't know if you guys have tried New Balance, but they're super durable. They skate really well. And it surprises me that more shoes don't follow this construction. I don't know if it's just a money issue or factories just started moving to that, and so New Balance was like, look, we're gonna do it the old way or a better way. And I do believe this is a better way to make a shoe. If you look at this one that isn't fully worn out, if you just glued this material right here back down, this shoe wouldn't even look like it has much wear on it at all. And you still have all of this toe piece and all of this toe piece to wear out before you reach your underneath layer, before you reach your sock and your bloody toes. So that is pretty good to see. I hope any of this makes sense. But right now, let's try to fix these things. We could look at how to prevent that, just like Pete did right here with putting some glue on his toe box. We could do that to my Air Jordan high tops right now, and that'll help them from blowing apart. And then I'll start skating in these things finally, because I've had these for about, I don't know, when did these come out? Like 4 or 5 months ago, maybe a little longer. Anyway, I've had these for a while, and I've been meaning to make them skatable, but I haven't done it yet. So here we go. We're gonna do that. I have some crazy glue. Now I had Gorilla Glue on my desk, and it has walked away or disappeared somehow or somewhere. So I don't have the Gorilla Glue I wanted to use, and this may not work, but we're gonna try it anyway. All we want to do is just put a little tab of crazy glue along this line, and then you want to just kind of dab it across these stitches. So there you go. That is the illustrious crazy glue trick. You can kind of see it, and it feels terrible doing it to a new pair of shoes, but honestly, it doesn't really show up that crazy. It doesn't show up that bad, and it will extend the life of the shoes. So that is the super glue hack. I was going to use Gorilla Glue on this as well, but since we can't find it and I don't have enough crazy glue to do that, we're going to use shoe goo on this. I hope that works just as well. But basically, I'm just going to open this thing up, and we're going to stuff shoe goo in there. And I think this shoe is going to last a long time after that. All right, guys, there you go. I gotta let this dry probably for about 24 hours, but doesn't look super pretty, but that's probably gonna hold up for a very long time. So yeah, there you go. Shoe goo on the toe box. Probably could do a little better job there, but super simple. But the best thing to do is to do what I just showed you on that Air Jordan 1. Because then you don't get to that point where you have this big floppy toe piece. So, all right, last but not least, this is also something you should do before the shoe is just burned out. But we're gonna try to do, like, you've seen like the old Vision streetwear, or I think some Americas have it with the little, or even Vans, they have the little rubber almost like half circle rubber Ollie Patch. You can make one of those out of shoe goo, so let's do that. All right, as you can see, I just built up a little stack of tape right there, and then we're just going to use your maybe use the outside of this. So there you go, you created your little patch area. This, of course, is always going to stick better to a new shoe. This is not sticking very well. You could also get some better tape, but you need something with some thickness to it to create the Ollie Patch depth. And as you can see, I was very liberal with the glue. Usually I would want to use a piece of ice for this, but since I don't have ice, you can just lick your finger and just smooth the glue out so it's not so crazy. There you go, you can get it pretty smooth. As you can see, you'll let it dry for a little while and then you'll cut along those edges so when you pull this off, it doesn't pull the shoe goo with it. So let's do that. We're gonna let it sit for a minute. I forgot to turn the camera on to pull the tape off. I didn't let this dry all the way, and this is definitely not the best job I've ever done. But on a new shoe, you can get this to look pretty okay. Not great, you know, nobody wants to shoe glue their brand new shoe. But if you do, it'll last longer. The best thing, in my opinion, that you could do to any shoe, even if the construction is good, is to just go ahead and hit it with a little super glue right off the bat. So, see, that doesn't even look like much of anything after it has dried. So, guys, anyway, I know this isn't one of my normal videos, but I thought it was funny when skaters kind of joked and talked crap about the dunk falling apart. Dude, skateboarding is hard on shoes. The end. There you go. I'm gonna start skating in these things again, and I think that's gonna hold up really well. And this is gonna hold up well too. So we shall see. It's gonna be good. I like the orange laces. You guys remember this video? What do you think of the orange laces? That's it. I'm gonna wrap it up. I know this one is a mess. I don't even know how I'm gonna make it through this, but if you haven't tried New Balance, check them out. If you haven't tried the shoe goo or super glue, Gorilla Glue trick, maybe give that a chance and protect your shoes, make them last longer. I know money's getting tight and shoes are getting more and more and more expensive. Nothing you can do about that, I guess. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. All the best. And love Bluetile. Goodbye.